Hey guys, how's it going? Wow, long time no see. I feel like it's been maybe only 3 days, but somehow it just feels longer. I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's being lonely, being stuck inside by myself, and it means that I miss you all. So anyway, good to be back. And today we're going to be doing a bunch of review videos submitted by you. So these were videos that you guys have submitted through Discord and through the subreddit. And so thank you so much for your submissions. Each week I try to get through 3 or 4 videos. And and then we also have our guest artists, of course, coming up. I'll announce that at the end. We've got a pretty cool upcoming guest here. We've got Jasmine Choi. She's going to be with us on Wednesday. She's a flutist, superstar flutist. I'm really looking forward to talking with her and learning more about the flute. And we've also got other streams coming up as well. We've got a Bob Ross stream. That's right, you heard it right, Bob Ross. I'm going to be painting for the first time in my life, so let's be aware of that. I hope I don't mess up things on my walls. Anyway, but really looking forward to that. But anyway, so I hope you've all been well, and this has definitely been a difficult time for everyone, but hopefully we try and stay positive through music as well as through just being connected, and that's what we try to do. All right, so we've got a couple of submissions here that I wanted to look through, and the first person is actually by the name of Mark Zhou. He's 14 years old, and he's going to be playing some of Paganini's Caprice number 13. All right, take it away. Get it, Mark. Very nice. Mark Zhou, everyone. 14 years old only. Playing the crap out of this Paganini Caprice. I've got the music up here in case you guys were curious to look at, have a look at what it looks like. It's a pretty tough one. I myself haven't yet played it, but I managed to get the music, and I think it's not easy. Certainly, but Mark, you made it look easy, so I don't know if I have much to say other than perhaps, okay, in the beginning, I circled this part here, the golden circle. It's actually, Mark, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but you kind of look like Brett Yang. Or maybe Brett Yang looks like Mark. But, yeah, just had to put that out there. But in the beginning, Mark, maybe this part here, it could be a little bit more, I don't know, like somehow just charming, all right? So let's have a go at charming. I'm a little bit making up the notes because, as I said, I've never played this. So, and thank you to Marcus for the donation. Awesome playing, Mark, indeed. But what I'm trying to get out there is that the notes on the music, when we see them like this, of course they're just kind of there, right? It's just like words in a sentence in a book. But then you have to imagine that you're the storyteller. And so you have to use all sorts of emotions, and you can't just take the words and read it like this, otherwise, So not saying that you are, but I think you can be even more kind of pushing towards what is the appropriate emotion. And in this part, I would say that it is definitely a, let's call it, I don't know, it's quaint, it's sort of dainty, it's elegant. Elegant would be a good word. So we're going to use elegant. Elegant. Oh, gosh. So, an elegant beginning. That would be good. And then later on, I think this is all good. And then you have this, this part, which, guys, this is I'm just going to try and attempt to sight read this. So please have some, just be kind. I think that this part we can have a bit more like it can be more of a contrast, so that this section and the beginning section are two very different ideas. All right, so let's try and work. I'm gonna try and work on this contrast a little bit. How many of those are there? Contrast. And then the rest. This can be again. This can be a bit more of a contrast again. The next section where it's a bit daintier, right? This section here can sort of be a bit daintier. Sorry for the random notes and random intonation. Lol. And here you need to definitely have that like ability to just like make those string crossings really convincing. So you really need to know the angle of your bridge, okay? Orban. I think I'm cheating. I think I'm not supposed to go on the A and E string. I think we're supposed to do it here on the A and D string. Whoops. Okay, let me listen to attempt number 2. Oh, that is a long jump. I think you went up on the G and D here. Yeah. This is not easy, but I mean, Mark, you did a great job. I think actually the rest of the stuff, it's just more about practicing it and keep doing what you're doing. I would just suggest that the beginning part can be a lot more sort of just elegant, you know? I think of, maybe I've been playing too much Smash Bros these days, but I think of Princess Peach. It's just like very, you know, very elegant when you're playing this. All right, so yeah, it's about the beginning part that I would just slightly have more imagination. It's a part where you can actually have an opportunity to story tell, and I would not let that go so easily, especially in Paganini, because you know there's tons of virtuosic passages, endless virtuosic passages, but very few storytelling passages, right? So yeah, I would say that would be what I would suggest. A few parts where you can perhaps take some time. For example, ta ta da ta da ta da da ta, like starting from here. Da 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 da. This note can be a little bit sort of relaxed, and then you start again here. Da 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 ya da 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 ba bam bam bam. Right? Okay. So that'll be what I would suggest. Let's try the beginning part again. It's like almost like. You know what I think? I think of like this, like, you're like, it's going up, and then like the Princess Peach analogy. It's like she has the parasol, the umbrella thing, and then she's like going up, and then she's like do 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 do, like holding like the Mary Poppins style, like floating down again. It's just like da 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 ya da 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 ba bam ba pa. Da 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 ya da 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 da, like that, you know. You gotta have that sort of, that lighter than air, or just only just heavier than air, that it just comes down very daintily. So yeah, you get the idea now. That's basically what I think you should have. You can afford to have more imagination. So thank you, Mark, and thank you for your beautiful playing for the Paganini. That's it's pretty incredible. Keep up the great work, and best wishes. All right, so who do we have up next? We have Lana, also 14 years old. 14 years old seems to be the thing today. Well, thanks for making me feel old, guys. Lana is 14 years old. She's going to be playing the Wieniawski Legende. And I think we've decided to start from the middle section because there's not enough time to do the whole thing. But the middle section is the major section. So let's listen to this. Wow, very nice indeed. Guys, that was Lana. Lana is 14 years old, and she was playing part of Wieniawski's Legende, like legend with an E and a fancy kind of French way of saying it. Legende. Oui, oui. So here we go. All right, Legende. So the beginning starts, you heard a little bit of the end of the piano section, the ta da 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 da. And actually, I'm just kind of like, I wonder who played the piano part, because when I was watching the video a little bit before, I couldn't really figure it out if it was like maybe a software or if it was an actual person there playing. I couldn't figure it out, but in any case, that's kind of cool. If it was a software, that would be pretty amazing. That you can practice at home and do all that kind of stuff. All right, so we have here the music, and as you can see, that's the title, Legende. Oh, there we go. And yeah, we started, the part that we started at was actually this key change here. All right, and just to give you a little bit of reference, the beginning part, it's kind of this beautiful passage that's like, you know, a little bit like this. Right? So you get the idea. Sorry, I keep changing to the voice microphone versus the playing microphone so that I don't blast your ears. And then we started with the part that Lana started was the major section down here. And so that part down there with the moderato, it's just kind of like this happy moment. It starts kind of like misty and mysterious, like Legende coming from the mists, oui oui, and then it's like, then it suddenly has this like, oh, this very nice ta-da-dum pum pa-da-da-ta-ta yada, and I think that's a really cool passage. I'm going to attempt it. I thought you played beautifully, Lana. That when it comes to these sorts of pieces, if there's anything that I might say, it would be that the slides. Let's talk a little bit about sliding and the charm, right? So much about these sorts of pieces is about charm, and a lot about charm comes with slides. And a couple of people in the Discord the other day were asking me about slides, so I thought it might be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about slides, especially double stop sliding. That can be difficult. All right. So just to recap, we've got, two basic slides. We've got the over slide. So I'm going to put this over here, and like that, where your first finger slides, and then you cap the top of it. Right? And then you have the underslide, which is kind of like you don't slide with the first finger, you slide with the next one, the second note. Like that, right? So you can hear the difference. Now, it depends on where you use slides. It's always situational, and every scenario has a different appropriate use of a particular slide, and how long the slide should be, how soft or loud it should be, if it's a heavy emphasis, the under or over slide, whichever one you choose. It's always a different choice. So you got to bear that in mind, that that's always going to be a thing that continuously changes as you encounter different places. For example, I mean, we did this with the Liebeslied, remember, with the Chrysler stream, where I had you guys tell me which slide to use. So stuff like that. If you haven't seen that video, I would suggest you go watch that. Then you can catch up on all the different sliding methods that we talked about. But double stop slides are an interesting thing because you can't really. I mean, there is a little bit of an that would be an double stop over slide. But then if it was a double stop underslide, it would be like that. So it's the same principle. All right, let's try from the major section. So you heard there. That was a good opportunity to do a slide. Sorry, I'm gonna get the music out right here. Da ya da da da. So let's say you go like that, and then 2 and 4. Okay, that would be a great opportunity to do a. And then. Right? Stuff like that. It creates this charm, this old world charm. All right, let's continue here. So. So you see, we encountered a couple of different places where we could really add in some cool slides that would help make this piece, this section, even more special than the way you were already beautifully playing it, Lana. But you know, we always strive for more, right? That's the charm. That's what I guess both the blessing and the curse about being an artist. So. Right there. That would be one. You can do small ones as they fall down there, like that. And then I think then it's about like, okay, do you kind of lean into the slide or do you back away from the slide? Right? Because I would say that most slides, especially underslides, you ought to back away from because it's kind of like, if you kind of lean into it, it's a bit like that. It'll sound a bit like a cow, like going moo like that. You don't want that. You kind of want like an elegant cow, like that, and then it's like, already the moo like that creates curiosity to the ear. So that's. I know it sounds kind of weird, but trust me on this. I back away there. Here I don't go onto the E string just yet. I kind of would suggest that you stay on the A and D and keep it softer because like there you want this part to come out. That part would be like much more special because anytime you have these sort of surprising harmony changes, you definitely want it to just pop out. And if you've already kind of given your all right before, you leave less room for yourself later on. It's kind of like you got to plan your shots ahead of time. So actually, it's this one. I mean, these two parts, but to make sure that you don't give it away in the first circle. Here. And then here, Lana, I felt like it was, you could sort of create more, I don't know, anticipation that something is about to happen, that there's more kind of like, oh, what's happening? Da 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 da. And then the answer, da da ya da 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 ba ya. And finally, when you get to the fortissimo, it's like, wow, that's huge. And you just full of freedom, and you keep going, and then finally all the way till that brilliant kind of like chromatic, all that kind of stuff, right? So that's where I think you can kind of build more as you are planning. You can plan, and then within your plan have more of a room to sort of create differences but you need that initial foundation, that structure, so that you can go around and do all sorts of cool stuff, right? So, all right, I'm sure it's going to be wonderful, and thank you so much for your video submission. I really enjoyed listening to it. All right, so up next, who do we have? All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Krista Herwig, for your donation, and the previous donation as well. You mentioned the live chat function. I got rid of the live chat when we're talking about music, just when we're here in the music part, because I didn't want it to become too distracting, especially when I'm talking, about trying to get a point across, and if there's chat going on, I'm just like, I get really distracted. I'm sure you guys too. So it's better when we're just in between stuff that we get to chat together here. So all right, who do we have up next? Oh, I see. Okay, we have this is a bit of a break from the violin stuff. We have a guitarist named Rachel Teo, and she's going to play a little bit of Scarlatti Guitar Sonata. And I just saw this video and I thought it was just so calming. It was so beautiful. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, this is a little break from all the violin stuff. Thank you, Rachel. That was really nice. Yeah, she says she's been, you know, playing this piece for, yeah, just working on, I don't know if it's this piece or guitar in general, but for about 7 months, she said. So that was really nice. I don't know why I'm talking softer now, but it just kind of put me in this like calming mood. So thought I would just share that with you. And thanks for sharing that with us, Rachel. Okay, so, all right, back to violin, of course. Our next video is, by a guy called Mateusz Kolasinski. He's 24 years old, and he's going to play a bit of Sibelius for us. Sibelius Violin Concerto. So, yeah, all right. Great. Thank you so much. Thank you for your video submission, Mateusz. And yeah, as many people in the chat were saying that you have quite an amazing vibrato. I really enjoyed that. And you know, Sibelius, I feel like you really captured this. Maybe it's because we're all feeling a bit isolated right now, but Sibelius, for me, especially this beginning, has this feeling of isolation. This kind of like very lonely feeling. And yeah, I feel like maybe we'll all play Sibelius Violin Concerto better now that we've been through what isolation feels like. Yeah, that was great. So anyway, so thank you so much for that. I don't really have much to say except that it was just really amazing. Yeah. I'm gonna try and like play a little bit and see what I discover while I you know, have a go at it. that kind of put me in the spirit of Sibelius. I was just trying to figure out what I would say, because music. The great thing about music is it's just so subjective, and I was just appreciating what you did. To be honest, Mateusz, I wasn't really like thinking about how it could have been better or something like that. A few things might have come into my mind though. Maybe if like, okay, I felt like the beginning section was just really great, but perhaps if we like from basically, okay, after section 1, after the first section, so you start from rehearsal number 1, maybe that there could have been a bit more flair. I mean, we all kind of, the universal sort of Sibelius interpretation is that from the beginning, it starts very slow and like very like icicles, it's just this wintry landscape. And then you feel that it accumulates. It's like just a sprinkling. The violins, they had this like, and then you come in and you're this like lonely wind, and it slowly builds up into like a giant storm, wintry blizzard, essentially. So I feel like when it comes to this first section here, by then it's kind of like it's definitely something a lot stronger. So I think you can have a bit more flair, yet it's still not. It's important to differentiate between Scandinavian Romanticism and German Romanticism, or Polish Romanticism, and each, I feel like, composer has their own language. So here I felt like there were parts where it felt to me it was very heavy. It was nice, but they didn't have enough of that like Quicksilver Sibelius in it. So for example here. So you get that idea that it's always about this like kind of building in this voyage, It's like the Scandinavian, the Viking kind of thing where you're discovering something. You start alone, but then you venture out and you discover new things. That's kind of how I see this beautiful music. What kind of beauty? Those are the sorts of questions you should be asking yourself, Mateusz. Beauty, but what kind of beauty? Strength, what kind of strength? Obviously vibrato, what kind of vibrato, and sound, what kind of sound? But flair, what kind of flair? Yeah. Those are the questions to be asking. And then figuring out, when you have the answers, how to make it sound like that on the violin. Yeah. So that's what I would suggest. I think that everything else, you're already headed in the right directions. So it is that is how it is. Oh, somebody asked, Ray, could you help explain the difference between Scandinavian, German, and Polish Romanticism? Well, it's kind of like the languages, right? To maybe to someone who doesn't speak the language, who's not even European, to like, you know, I was about to say someone like from Asia or from, you know, Australia, America, like it would be like, oh, European, it's all one giant thing. Just kind of like how people group Asia, it's all one giant thing. But it's not. It's really not. And the more you learn about the culture, this is not really something that I can explain in things like in music. I mean, beyond that, you have to just listen to the language. I would say that's the fastest way. Listening to the language would be the fastest way. And then like actually just noticing the architecture. Architecture also plays a pretty big role into music. And then history. Those would be the three things to study. And the people, of course, the fourth thing, which would be just to get a sense of what makes, you know, like a Finnish person. And even within Scandinavian, like what kind of Scandinavian are you looking for? Are you looking for Norwegian or Finnish? Because the two are completely different, right? So Finns are known for being very kind of like, there's like always Finnish jokes that they look down at their shoes when they're talking to you. They're very quiet. They're very kind of, I mean, it's dark there like all the time. Like that's very kind of this dark humor, very dry people in terms of humor. And, you know, Germans are very kind of all about the Lieder, this love when they're singing, that romanticism. I would say that's very German romanticism. Very emotions on the outside. Scandinavian is like, or at least here with Sibelius, Finnish is emotions on the inside. So, yeah, that would be a small, like a quick Cliff Note version of what the difference is. But the best way to really you can like what's the word I'm trying to think of? You can listen to what I say and you can sort of understand it, but to fully understand it, you still have to do the studying yourself. So have fun with that. So yeah, okay. Oh, looks like we're done for today's review videos, except there is an extra one that I wanted to show you guys just from sheer effort. You know, recently I've been playing a little bit of Minecraft, and as you guys might have seen from my last gaming stream, and I've just been like appreciating the Minecraft kind of world for the first time, because I didn't really play that game growing up. I think it was a combination of I was just too busy, I was practicing when it first came out, to also the fact that, well, when I was growing up, games were sort of like graphically not that great. Like the graphics were pretty bad. So then to come back to a game like this is just a little bit strange. To like, for me, it's a little too close, a little too close. So anyway, but I think we can all appreciate, because there was this moment where someone explained music blocks in Minecraft to me. And music blocks are basically, you build these giant block things, and each one you can kind of like, you hit it until it makes the appropriate sound. You set that so that block becomes that particular note, and then you can line up, if you line up enough blocks with the right distance, you can have them play like in a row, right? So that's the basic concept. And the reason why I'm explaining this is some person went ahead and took him a month to make he put the entire Shostakovich Symphony No. 10, the second movement, into Minecraft building blocks, music blocks. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to listen to a little bit of the Shostakovich. This is by my friends in the London Symphony Orchestra. So we have a fair idea of what it sounds like, the second movement. Okay, so you have a fair idea of what it sounds like now. Now imagine all of that in Minecraft music blocks. All right, yeah, I couldn't believe it either. Here we go. Yeah. Yep. So that for those of you who do know Minecraft, I'm sure you can fully appreciate how many hours that must have taken. And for those of you who don't, like, you know, myself just from a week ago, that takes, let's say, you know, I think well over 40 hours. That is, like, we had this the Chentheon with the thank you for the donations. We had this this pixel ray version of up on the roof of this giant pantheon, which they named the Chentheon. I got told that one, I mean, I think they were just being generous with themselves. That was like on a difficulty level up to 10, 1 to 10, that would be like at a 5 out of 10. This would be 10 out of 10. So just to put that into comparison. Yeah, so thank you very much for that submission. And that was, yeah, that's more people should see that. So I'm going to definitely drop that link in the description below later. All right, we have some time, a little bit of time for some Ask Ray questions. So these are questions that I've collected from the Discord on the Ask Ray chat channel. So here we have the first question. Oh, that is quite the first question. How hard is it to date in your 30s? What? Especially when you're when you're a world-class violin soloist. I thought I vetted these questions. Maybe these were the ones that I didn't mean to choose, but I thought were funny. Anyway, we're going along with it. Have you ever dated a fellow musician? Wow, I was not prepared for these, but yeah, I have dated fellow musicians. In fact, I feel like I've only dated fellow musicians, so it's probably something that I ought to branch out from, but you know, how hard is it to date in my 30s? I don't know, because like, I mean, I turned 31 this year, and I'm super, like, I'm feeling like, oh my god, what kind of a boomer move did I do? What are these questions? They're all gonna be like the really funny, but like, I don't know, some. Oh, I can't stop the stream, Mom, I want to go home. But okay, I'm going to answer these questions properly. So I was, until recently, I would say until November last year, I was in a relationship. So, and then I turned 31 in March this year, and now, as you all know, this whole isolation thing has started. So that's been interesting. So I haven't really managed to find like myself dating. Yeah, but oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. What are the other questions here? Oh, okay, this is a safe one. Any tips for recording videos for an audition without accompaniment? Actually, this is wait, Anyway, never mind. Any tips for recording videos for an audition without accompaniment? Yeah, that's actually a really good question because right now it relates to our situation. I would say that without accompaniment, if you didn't, and it was like a violin concerto, I would say just always, and this should go for whenever you're practicing as well. Let's say you're practicing the Bruch violin concerto. Like I always have the tutti, the orchestral tutti in my mind when I'm playing. That way you kind of, it makes a difference. So always have that in your mind. That's a big tip to do. Because that way people can also imagine, these pieces weren't written for solo violin. If you're playing a piece for solo violin like Bach, then you don't have to obviously think about there is no accompaniment, right? But you have to bear in mind that any piece that wasn't originally written for solo instrument, whatever your instrument is, you have to make room and bear in mind all the other instruments and parts that were originally written for it. So that's something to think about. And so when you have that in your mind, people will also have that in their mind. Oh, thank you for the donations. Thank you to Robert and also to Marcos, by the way. All right, what do we have next? When did you decide that you wanted to make playing the violin your job? Huh. Okay. Well, I first wanted to become a violinist when I was 8 years old. I got invited to go to Japan for the 1998 Nagano Winter Olympics. So Suzuki Method had this, they were celebrating Dr. Suzuki's legacy. And they invited 500 kids from all over the world to come to Japan to play in the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. I mean, how cool was that? So I went. I was one of 8 people who got invited. By the way, thank you, Jess, for your donation. Here's something for more tacos, bread, ice cream. Thank you. I'm going to definitely buy some ice cream with that. Thank you, Genevieve, as well. So I went to Japan, and I was, for me, it was just the first trip. I was 8 years old. I got to go overseas. Can you imagine how excited anyone would be? I mean, and I got to try new foods, got to meet new people, make new friends. Actually, I'm still in touch with the host family that my mom and I stayed at in Japan. They live in Nagano, and it's just so cool that music, it cemented in my brain that music can bring people together. Music can also sort of connect people and keep people connected. And that was just such a beautiful idea, a beautiful philosophy that I took with me since I was 8 years old. So that's sort of why I decided that I wanted to become a violinist. Yeah, so that was that. And since then it's just been a passion. Obviously, a job. I don't know if I would ever call it a job. I mean, I suppose technically it is if you earn money from it, but I would say that I definitely don't think of it where people, think of jobs. They're always like, oh gosh, I hate my job. There are some moments where, I get tired. Everyone gets tired, right? And some other moments when you feel like you can't work any harder than you have, and yet it still feels like nothing's moving. That happens a lot, also to me. So if you're feeling that, if you're feeling like you've thrown everything you can at something and there's still no improvement or still no result back, just keep pushing. Keep going for it. It's probably just a bottleneck. And sometimes these bottlenecks where you just accumulate more and more things, eventually it will pass through. But it's down to your own persistence, perseverance, and discipline to make that happen. So just remember that. Thank you, Mary, for the donation. Oh gosh, this is not the, well, you're getting these questions answered anyway. Thank you, Weasel. If tomato is a fruit, is ketchup a smoothie? Getting philosophical. Philosophy. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave that there. Yeah. Actually, this reminds me of a quote. Yeah. that I think it goes something like knowledge is knowing that tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit smoothie. That's right. I think it goes like that. Or is it like, yeah, intelligence or something like that, but we're wisdom. But yeah, that would be the answer to that question. I'm so sorry if this is a dumb question. There are no such thing as dumb questions, but I keep getting frustrated by this. How do you decide what to follow when receiving? Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I did choose this question as well. I think they just got jumbled. How do you decide what to follow when receiving feedback about your playing? Sometimes I get a lot of feedback and I don't know what is useful and what is just someone's preference. Oh, yeah, good question. Especially when I personally love the way it sounds. Thanks for your help. Well, yeah, that can be confusing when you've got so many people who are giving you advice. And they mean well, but that advice, sometimes it's like you as an advice giver, you're working on something, or not even as an advice giver, just you as a person. And you're noticing something. Like, let's say, for example, you've been focusing a lot on, I don't know, your smooth bow changes. So you're especially sensitive to that. Now, someone else comes along and says, hey, a general question. Can you give me some advice? Of course, you're going to be especially wired to hear those smooth or not so smooth bow changes. So probably the first thing that you say that jumps out at you is going to be, hey, your bow changes aren't so smooth. Maybe you could smooth them up. And that might or might not be the most important thing that the person should be focusing on. Okay, now, picture yourself as that person, getting all this sort of feedback. All right, that can be definitely confusing. I would say, write everything down. All right, write everything from top to bottom, every advice that's ever been said to you, all the different ones, because you can't possibly remember all of them. Write them down, and then just choose a few to start focusing on, and keep asking people for advice. And then other people will say other things. Write those down too. After a while, with enough people, you'll have enough data to draw a line between what's important. If you have 7 out of 10 people telling you that, I don't know, your bow changes aren't smooth or your intonation needs to be watched, then you can move that up in priority, right? I think that would be the best way until you finally develop your own ears and to be able to listen to something. Yeah, that's going to be the best way. And also video record yourself and have the list of advice next to you and handy, and just look at your own video and be like, does this jump out at me as a thing? Are my bow changes smooth? Is my intonation, go down that list after prioritizing it. And I think that will be really, really helpful. So, yeah. Okay, that was the last question. Oh, gosh. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for all of your donations, as well as, yeah, it's been really fun. And also, I want to welcome and invite all of you to the Discord server. We have a wonderful family, Discord family. The link is in the descriptions below, and also some of the YouTube mods will also be giving the link as well. So be sure to look out for that. And we have virtual practice rooms. We've got, sometimes movie nights. We've got all sorts of stuff. And it's just a great way to not feel so alone during these, not only during these difficult times, but during any difficult time. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to look out Wednesday. We've got the Jasmine Choi off stage with, which is basically a review video with a special guest, and we're also going to be talking all things flute, all things really cool about wind instruments in general, and I can't wait to learn all about yeah, the flute and everything. So be sure to look out for that on Wednesday. So, all right, thank you for your donations, and see you on the Discord. Bye. You're expecting a boomer move, but no boomer move is going to happen. Because I am no longer Boomer Ray. Ha ha! No, I'll always be Boomer Ray. Don't worry about that. But no, thanks for watching, guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And we have all different kinds of videos, by the way. So, you know, if this one was interesting, be sure to look out for the rave reviews. We've also have other types which are more practice videos, and those ones have more obviously violin playing in those, and other discussion ones with guest artists, like I mentioned with the upcoming one with Jasmine. So yeah, it's just all sorts of different stuff. Video game streams as well. Haha. Bob Ross stream. Oh my gosh, I love this Bob Ross thing. Bob Ross, happy little trees. Happy little accidents. Yeah. Happy little trees. Oh, I can't wait for the Bob Ross stream. That's probably going to be like a Saturday or a Sunday kind of thing. Yeah. I think that'll be really cool. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I'll see you later. Bye.